Hello everyone, this is Brett and thank you for tuning in to June and July 2023 Vinyl Finds video. If you're new to my channel and have yet to subscribe, please click the subscribe button and I look forward to interacting with you in the comments section. I highly recommend checking out my last video where my friends Frank and Greg and I ranked the entire Dead Can Dance catalog along with original drummer Peter Ulrich. So be sure to check that out. Any videos that I reference, I'm going to leave links in the description. So today's video is going to be highlights of things that we picked up over here from June and July 2023. One of them includes what I consider a Grail record for me, a couple of gifts from a friend. So here we go. Let's kick things off. So for those of you longtime viewers, you remember my friend Brent who participated in all those Saturday Night Music Club videos. I helped him out with something and he set aside 3 records for me as gifts. I'm going to show 2 in this video and then 1 in a later video. So he gave me Skinny Puppies, Cleanse, Fold, and Manipulate, the 1987 album from the Canadian electronic industrial band. This was their 3rd record. Unfamiliar, check out the tracks Addiction, First Aid, Deep Down, Trauma, Hounds. Really excited to have that in the collection, so thanks Brent. And he also gave me their debut EP, 1984's Remission. This is a 6-song EP that came out before their first album, 1985 Bites. Has the track Smothered Hope on here. Thanks again, Brent. Very excited to have these. All right, next up. If you remember, several months ago, I did a ranking of the entire Love and Rockets catalog. I showed the vinyl box set that had come out. Well, they've been reissuing those albums separately, and then this 2 CD set came out, only available on CD, called My Dark Twin, which is from the Sweet FA sessions from their 1996, their second to last album. This is a 22-song collection, as I said, spread out over 2 CDs. It includes 8 unreleased versions of songs from the Sweet FA album, as well as 6 unreleased songs from the sessions. It has a booklet which details everything about the recording sessions. There was a fire that had broken out in the studio, and that's what the guitar is on the cover that burnt out. I have to say that I ended up, some of these alternate versions of some of the album tracks I kind of like more than the album versions, so that was a real treat to have. If you're a Love and Rockets fan, Bauhaus, Tones on Tail, David J. Daniel Ash, check this one out. I found this incredibly fascinating to put on. There is one moment on here, a track called You Owe Me. I think it's at the end of disc 1, and it sounds like they put a boombox in like a rehearsal room. And it's the only track that sounds like this. Everything else sounds excellent. But it's them jamming for about 15 minutes, and Genesis P. Ulrich from Throbbing Gristle and Psychic TV is singing. He's kind of screaming, "You owe me money." It's repetitive and hypnotic and chaotic, and it was a real treat to listen to. So check this one out. Love and Rockets, My Dark Twin. All right, I was also really excited to see that the later era R.E.M. records are getting a reissue now. And this month brought with it the reissue of their final album, the 2011's Collapse Into Now, on Craft Recordings. I've always really liked this album since it came out. I think R.E.M. went out strong on this. There's many highlights. Some of my favorites are Discover, the opening track, really high energy, Uberlin, Oh My Heart, Mine Smell Like Honey. If you want to see where I ranked it back then, shortly after this came out, there's an R.E.M. ranking video linked below, and I'm planning on doing an updated version of that. But if you'd like to check out what that was like back then, there you go. There's some guests on this record, Patti Smith and Peaches and Eddie Vedder, and I have to admit, like, I never, up until this point of listening to it on vinyl, like Eddie Vedder's vocals I never really heard very pronounced until I heard it on vinyl, and then I was like, oh, there's Eddie Vedder on that track. Feels a little bit unnecessary. I feel like sometimes the guest vocalist, and I'll talk about that in the next one as well. But if you dropped out an R.E.M. at some point, give their final album a listen, because I think Collapse Into Now is really good. All right, so that brings it, the 2004 album Around the Sun. This was their 13th album. Probably most REM fans, maybe least favorite. And I wanted to have it for the sake of completing the collection, but also I wanted to kind of just reevaluate it after all this time. The lead single in the opening track, Leaving New York, I think is excellent. Electron Blue, the second track, also really good. And then we get to the guest vocalist thing. We have Q-Tip on the track, The Outsiders, which just feels a little bit out of place. I'm looking forward to listening again. Standout is obviously Leaving New York for me. Really, really excellent. So August is going to bring reissues of the albums Reveal and 2008, their second to last album, Accelerate. And that leaves just the album Up that hasn't gotten a reissue over the last few years. So yeah, check them out. All right, next up, this is the 6th album from the Nigerian singer-guitarist Mdou Moctar. This is Afrique Victime. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. Psychedelic desert rock. At times it makes me think of the Velvet Underground and just kind of how the Velvet Underground can be kind of noisy and then at times really delicate, acoustic-y. Beautiful stuff. Beautiful stuff. I highly, highly recommend you, if you're watching this, grab this record, listen to it, stream it, whatever. There's also some excellent YouTube footage out there of before they went to record this. They set up in a little village and they're playing, and the kind of people that live in the little village come and listen, and they're dancing, and they did that across several nights. And it's just a real treat. There's also footage of them kind of set up on a blanket by a river, and just fascinating music. There's a picture of the guys right there. So favorite song on this album is the track Tala Tanam. Absolutely beautiful. So definitely add this one to your collection. Okay, more stuff I was happy to see get either reissued or repressed. That is the reissue of the debut album from Charli XCX. This is True Romance. Her first album came out back in 2013. You've heard me talk about her before. Her album Crash was one of my favorites from last year. Electro-pop, synth-pop, a really great songwriter. Check out the song You, Ha Ha Ha. It's a really good one. And they reissued this on silver vinyl. And then also a repress came out of her third album, 2019's Charli. This is a 2-record set spread out, over 2 records at 45 RPM. You have guest Lizzo on this one. Sky Ferreira makes a guest appearance. Christine and the Queens, Haim, Kim Petras, who I talked about in my recent 2023 Best of video. So yeah, and then her Pop 2 kind of mixtape just got reissued as well, a 5-year anniversary of that. I've yet to pick that one up, but I will be getting that one next. All right, so I referenced a Grail in the beginning of the video, and a few months back I did a couple videos called Where's the Vinyl, where I talked about albums that are greatly deserving either a vinyl reissue or to be issued on vinyl, period, because they never were when they came out. And I was happy to see the great label Music on Vinyl, who does such fantastic work on their reissues, just released the second album from Ned's Atomic Dustbin. This is Are You Normal? It's on blue vinyl. It sounds absolutely stellar. If you're familiar with Music on Vinyl, their jackets are always high quality. The pressings are high quality. They're numbered. This originally came out in 1992, their second album. If you're unfamiliar with Ned's Atomic Dustbin, their first album, Godfather, which you can see up behind me, had the song Gray Cell Green, which was kind of an alternative radio hit back then, MTV 120 Minutes. But this album, if I had to recommend a track, I mean the whole album, there were singles, Not Sleeping Around, Intact, Walking Through Syrup, but the whole album is really great. Ned's Atomic Dustbin were a bit unique in the fact that they had two bass players. One of them played in more of a low end. Other guy plays in more of like a Peter Hook kind of strummy chordal thing. The album was produced by Andy Wallace. I almost said Andy Warhol. Andy Wallace, who's worked with, I mean, you just name a band and he's worked with them. Slayer, Nirvana, New Model Army, Rage Against the Machine, White Zombie, The Cult, it goes on and on. So grab one of these before they're gone. Ned's Atomic Dustbin, such an underrated band, but one of my favorites. So there we go, guys. Let me know if anything you guys picked up over the last few months, and I will see you soon. Goodbye.